If Ozempic is no longer available, what are the alternatives? What can we turn to not only continue managing our weight, but also managing our blood sugars? If you happen to be new to the party here, Ozempic and many of the GLP-1 medications that are used for diabetes and obesity management are becoming harder and harder to come by. Now, for the most part, up to this point in time, this was a problem that was primarily isolated to the US of A, but it's becoming increasingly more of a problem across the globe. In particular, here in Canada, we've been struggling with the shortage of Ozempic since about mid-August 2023. It was supposed to resolve about October 2023, kind of midway point there, but we just received notification yesterday from Novo Nordisk that this is probably going to continue until early 2024. And the reasons for these shortages and such like that are multifactorial. One of the big things though is the unprecedented demand. These medications are very, very effective at not only managing weight, but also managing blood sugar levels. And ultimately that has led to a huge demand and uptake of it. And unfortunately, the supply chain issues and problems that are still lingering on from COVID are affecting the overall ability of the drug maker to get it to market. Naturally, a lot of you have been reaching out asking what are the alternatives, and so that is what we're going to briefly review today, is to kind of go over some of the ideas and things that you could maybe take to your primary care team in order to get switched over to keep managing and helping you to get on with your weight loss or diabetes journey. And to help me out with this summary here, I created a rough little graph, if you will, kind of based on a quick Google search showing the various medication options I'm going to talk to you about today and their effectiveness in terms of helping to manage blood sugar or A1C and manage weight. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that most of the data I'm showing here is from the trials that were looking at individuals that have type 2 diabetes, and often weight loss was a secondary outcome of those trials. So weight loss wasn't the focus, managing blood sugars was, but these trials did show as secondary outcomes how much weight people were losing by using these various medications. So on the furthest end there, we have Ozempic, and you can see how effective it was in terms of weight loss. So the amount of weight loss on average is about 14 pounds in orange there, and the A1C reduction is 2% or greater with that 2 milligram dose of Ozempic. One of the easiest and most straightforward switches that people could make is switching over to Rybelsus, and Rybelsus is right smack dab in the middle there. So Rybelsus, we often call it the oral Ozempic because it contains semaglutide, which is the molecule also found in Ozempic. The big difference being is that Ozempic is a once weekly injection, whereas Rybelsus is a once daily tablet up to a dose of 14 milligrams once per day. And as you can see from the graph here, Rybelsus isn't quite as effective compared to Ozempic. On average, people got like a 1.3% reduction in A1C and about a 8-pound loss of weight. And so the big problem with Rybelsus is that even at the dose of 14 milligrams once per day, it's probably only equivalent to about 0.5 milligrams once per week of Ozempic. So it's not nearly as effective, and unfortunately, you can't go and double up the dose, so take two 14 milligram tablets to try and get more effectiveness out of the drug. And the reason for that is that Rybelsus, when we take more than one tablet, what ends up happening is the technology as to how the semaglutide gets passed over and absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract or your stomach into your bloodstream, ultimately that seems to cancel it out and prevent it from actually being absorbed. So you may have taken 2 tablets of 14 milligrams or 28 milligrams total, but none of the drug actually gets into your system, so you just took a very expensive set of tablets. But it nonetheless could be an option, again, to kind of bridge you in the interim until we get Ozempic back on the market. The next guy that I've been looking at for a lot of people is actually switching people over to a drug called Trulicity. Now, Trulicity is made by Eli Lilly. It's a once weekly injection, just like Ozempic. It's just not as effective. And as you can see, we've got Ozempic kind of towards the end. Trulicity is right beside it here. So it is not bad in terms of what it got for A1C reductions and weight loss, but it's not going to be as potent or as effective. So maybe you're not going to continue losing weight on Trulicity, but you might also just be able to keep maintaining the weight that you lost until, again, Ozempic comes back to market. So definitely an option, and the reason I really like it is because, again, it's a once weekly injection, very straightforward in how to use it, and you can go up to a dose of 4.5 milligrams once per week and still get some good responsive and effectiveness from that medication. Now, the next agents we're looking at here, first one being Victoza or Saxenda. Victoza and Saxenda contain, again, the same molecule, liraglutide. Victoza is just the one that's indicated for diabetes management, and Saxenda is the one that's indicated for obesity management. And the big difference as well is that they're once daily injections. So you give the injection just like you would Ozempic, but you give it on a daily basis at the dose of either 1.8 milligrams with Victoza or 3 milligrams with Saxenda. And overall, Saxenda and Victoza, again, are pretty decent options. Not as effective as Ozempic, but certainly can be an option to consider. You do become a bit of a human pincushion because you are giving yourself a daily injection. But again, this is kind of maybe an interim thing that we're looking at until Ozempic is more readily available, and you can still continue on with your progression, or at least maintaining the progress that you've made. The next agent to consider would be focused more for individuals that are just looking at weight loss specifically and not also trying to manage their blood sugars. And the reason being is that Contrave, which is a combination of two medications, bupropion and naltrexone, don't really have a specific mechanism like the GLP-1 medications in helping us to manage our blood sugars. The reductions in A1C that I'm kind of showing there of about 0.6% happening with the Contrave is primarily being driven due to the weight loss that comes with the medication. So Contrave could be another option in the interim if you're looking to maintain your weight loss and continue getting weight loss benefit potentially. Some people it works really, really effectively for, other people not so much. It really varies person to person. This is an oral formulation again. You take one tablet in the morning and then eventually you get to one tablet twice a day, then 2 tablets in the morning, then 1 tablet at night, and then eventually the full dose is 2 tablets in the morning and 2 tablets at night. So overall, that's kind of the main options that you certainly could talk to your family physician and care team about switching over to. The final guy, if you're here in Canada, that I would be looking at, and I've already made some videos on it and I'm obviously very excited about it, is Mounjaro. So Mounjaro is the big dog that is coming to market. In fact, it should be here by November 10th here in Canada. So I'm very excited about that one because it has created a lot of hype down in the US of A in showing its effectiveness in the various studies, and actually in some comparisons against Ozempic 2 milligrams once per week. Mounjaro at a dose of 5, 10, and 15 milligrams demonstrated a greater amount of efficacy in terms of A1C reductions and also in terms of weight loss. And in speaking with the representatives from Eli Lilly, the makers of Mounjaro, they have assured me that they're doing their utmost to learn from everything that has happened with Novo Nordisk and Ozempic and Wegovy to ensure that there are no supply chain, no shortage issues in terms of Mounjaro and it coming to market, so that people can get on the medication and stay on the medication without any kind of disruption. So I hope that provides you with a brief overview and summary. There are definitely some options out there that you can look into in getting yourself switched over. So be sure to talk to your care team and getting set up to make sure you figure out what is going to be the best option for you to not only continue managing your blood sugars, but also looking at managing your weight. And of course, as more updates and information starts to come out, I will be sure to update all of you via my YouTube channel here. But in the interim, if you got some value out of this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Also hit that like button and share this video with anybody that you think is going to get some benefit. Of course, check me out on my other channels at The Official Dr. Dan. We're on the Tik, the Talk, the Gram, you name it, we are out there. As well, if you happen to be in the Alberta area, be sure to come and check me out at my pharmacist-led obesity clinic, where all these services are at no direct cost to you. And so you can book in for a consultation with myself and see what might be the best medication for you, and certainly get some help and and support in making the necessary switch so you can continue on with your journey. Of course, all the links for everything that I do are on my bio, so be sure to go and check those out. As well, come and join me here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where I do a YouTube live every Wednesday-ish, depending on the week, and certainly try to answer all of your potential questions. Okay, that is it, and that is all. So until next week, you beautiful people, always remember that small tweaks lead to massive peaks.